Client didn't respond to your check-in message. Now what? The key is remove your frustration. Don't judge. Instead, be positive and non-assuming and have a very clear flow on how to reach out to them. If you want more videos on motivational interviewing and in general how to coach better, make sure that you subscribe. So what do we do when a client doesn't respond to our messages? The first immediate reaction is frustration. It's easy to take it personal. It's easy to feel like a bad coach and that we are maybe not doing something or we are not giving our clients what they need, because if we would do, they would always come back. But here's the important part. We have to understand what is in our control, what is our responsibility, and what is in their control, what is their responsibility. It's in our responsibility and in our control to create easy-to-use processes for check-ins, to write inviting messages, and also to use inviting, non-assuming and compassionate reminders and reach out messages. On the other hand, it's your client's responsibility and it's in their control to respond back. Nothing you can do can make them respond if they don't do. And that's important to understand. If you have done everything that you can right now to the best of your abilities, then you can sit with confidence and with tranquility, knowing you have done everything that you could, and now it's their choice. And part of this is writing reach out messages that don't shame or don't make their clients guilty. Instead, always assume that they have a very good reason not responding to you or to not respond to you. It may not be true, it may be something else, but always assume that they have a very good reason, because this makes the whole conversation, also the reach out messages, so much more compassionate, so much more understanding, and more positive and inviting. The last part is have a cold and calculated reach out strategy. If you have laid out your messages and the progression of your messages, then all the emotions can leave you. Because when your client doesn't respond, your reach out strategy starts and you follow this step by step and you can let go of all these stories and all the frustration. So how would a strategy like this look like? Here's what I do. The first message is the check-in message. So, for example, an electronic check-in form. And I made a video recently about electronic check-in forms, and you can find them here, and you can also find the video in the description. So you send this to your client so they can check in. Then, after some time, you notice, oh, they haven't responded. So you send a friendly reminder. And the reminder is compassionate and understanding. And I will show you in a second how a message like this would look like. The next step is a second reach out after some time and they didn't respond to your first reach out. And the goal here is to remind them it's not too late. It's super easy to feel frustrated with yourself as a client or feel like you have blown all your progress and it's no use. So if you can get a message from your coach, hey, it's not too late to come back, you can always find a step to get you moving again, can be super helpful. And then if they still haven't reached out to your messages, or if they still haven't responded to your messages, I sent a welcome back message. The welcome back message is essentially, hey, is now a good time? Let's talk about taking one first step. So let's start. First, Let's look at your weekly check-in message. Is it easy to use, or is it overwhelming? I've seen check-in forms where coaches ask 20 elaborate questions and then have lots of ratings, and it's so much information and so much effort that a client has to put into. And imagine you have a busy week, and then you get this huge task that will take you 15 minutes, half an hour. The likelihood that you're actually doing it will be very, very low. So focus on check-ins that are easy and quickly and get to the point. And very important, they focus on positive aspects and are relevant for the client. Because if the check-in experience is positive, they're more likely to do it again. So ask questions that don't focus too much on why they're struggling, what's wrong, what's not working, and instead focus on, hey, what is working and how have you overcome challenges? And how to create a check-in like this is something I talked in a video, and you can find it here in the card and also in the description. The next part is, do you use a form that is easy to use? Can they essentially wait for a bus or wait between meetings and quickly do the check-in? If they can do it from a phone wherever they are, it's so much more likely that they can actually complete it and that they will complete it. One more thing. Do you thank them for completing the check-in? Do you take time to appreciate that they took the time? Because this reinforces in a positive way that doing the check-ins is something good. It's really important. It's such a small step, but if you appreciate again and again how important their work is for you, they will be more likely to continue doing it, because everyone wants positive feedback. And the last part, and I talked this about the video I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, individualize the process. Maybe check-in forms is not their style because they prefer pen and paper. Maybe they prefer call instead of writing. Maybe every week is too much, so bi-weekly works better for them. Try to meet your client where they're at as much as you can. Let's look at reminder number 1. When you haven't heard from them for 7 days. And 7 days is not a magical number. I've seen coaches reach out after 10 days, and I've seen coaches reach out after 5 days. Either way, here's the message that I use. Hey client, you haven't checked in for so many days. You may just have a busy week and focus on doing your daily practices. If that's the case and you're feeling okay, great. I just want you to know that I'm here to help if you're struggling and aren't sure what to do. If you have a moment, drop me a line so I know what's going on. And I will copy this message into the description so you can just copy paste and use it or individualize it to your needs. So let's look at the thought process behind this message. Notice, I'm not assuming why they're not responding, while at the same time I try to cover all the bases or the potential reasons. My message is compassionate and understanding. Hey, it's normal to sometimes not respond. If you're doing well, no need to respond, continue being awesome. But if you struggle, I just want to remind you, hey, I'm here. And another important point is I don't ask questions. Because if I ask a question, it begs a response. But the client may feel guilty for not responding. They may feel annoyed that you're wanting something from them. So by not asking questions and instead making statements, I don't create the feeling of they are ignoring me. They are ignoring my question, and I don't feel ignored because they don't respond. It's, hey, if you have the time and if you need the help, reach out. Reminder number 2. This is the message I send if they don't respond to my first reminder. And the objective again here is to let them know, hey, it's not too late. Because at this point, they may be 7 or 14 days off track, or at least they haven't responded. So my goal is to let them know, hey, I know you're maybe busy and I want to help you get back on track. Let me know the best way to help you take this first step. And again, I will copy this message in the description so you can check it out. Another approach with the second reminder is to switch the mode of communication. So instead of using email again, you could try a text message. Or instead of using WhatsApp, you could try Instagram. And there's a balance here. It's similar to, oh yeah, I could just call them. Because essentially, when they don't respond to you, they are asking for time and space. And with every reminder, you're essentially working against their wish of having time and space. And for me, I want to make an effort. I want to make sure that they know they can come back, but I also don't want to push it, because if they're right now in a moment where they don't feel like, oh, do I want this? Do I don't want this? Maybe they're fighting internally with themselves. And I push all the time, hey, message me, let's get back on track. Then I push them further away. And the more effort I bring into this, the more annoyed they get with me. I totally get the idea of switching mode of communication and even calling, but there's a fine balance. We have to make sure that we are not making more damage. Because most of the time, it's more important to know that you can reach out than to have actually the conversation. At least in moments of, oh, what's going on? Do I want this? Do I don't want this? After 4 weeks of no contact, but again, the timelines are up for you to decide. I send a welcome back message, and the welcome back message essentially says, "Hey, it has been a while, but I am here, and we can talk about what to do next." Notice how this is even less of a commitment. In the last message, it was, hey, let's talk about taking this first step, making it specific. And now it's more, hey, let's talk about what could be the next thing you're doing. And I make it super easy by always adding a link to my best line of communication. So for me, clients can sign up for a coaching call or can book a coaching call. So I add the link at the bottom. And again, the word for word message will be in the description for you to copy. Let's look at the whole timeline again. You have the first check-in message. After 7 days, if you choose it for B7, if you choose 7 days. For 7 days without any response, first reminder. After an additional 7 days without a response, you send a second reminder, potentially over a different channel. Then, after an additional 14 days, so in total after 30 days, you send the welcome back message. And you repeat the welcome back message every 30 days until the end of the program. So, for example, if you have a 6-month-long program and they stop responding after 3 months, you send the welcome back message 3 times. And ideally, you customize it a little bit, choose different words, maybe make a reference to something that's happening right now. But this is the whole timeline. It's a cool, calculated algorithm that takes all the emotions out of the conversation and out of the process. But there's one thing that you can do to make this 10 times more powerful. Let's talk about this now. The most effective way to improve the effectiveness of your messages is to customize it. But how? And this is the cool part. Ask your client. Right now, with all the clients that you have, or I do it with the intake questionnaire, ask them, okay, you don't respond to me anymore. Let's imagine that. How do you want me to handle that? I had clients that wrote the complete algorithm for them. They said, after so many days, send this message. After so many days, do this. And if I still don't respond, something's going on, but I'm not ready yet to respond, I will be in touch. So have this discussion with them, and they can tell you what is the best approach for them if they stop responding. And if they have no idea, that's perfectly fine. You can lay out your approach and they can say, oh, that would work, that doesn't work, whatever. Or you just use your normal approach. But having the conversation is super important because it normalizes the experience. It normalizes that all clients will eventually fall off track, at least for a short while. And then you can already have a conversation about what happens if they fail. What happens if they fall off track? And you already have a blueprint. So it's not like, oh my God, I've eaten every day a ball of ice cream for a week. Now everything is screwed up. No, they have a clear, oh, this happened, I will do that, and I will do that, and I'm back on track. This is so crucial. A little bit of reflection time. Think about it for yourself. Imagine you're a client and you're not responding to your coach's message. What would be the best approach for him or for her to handle the situation? What would be your ideal reach out strategy? What would work best for you? And this process might inform your own reach out strategy. Let's quickly talk about why clients don't respond. And while we're talking about it, reflect for yourself, what are the reasons why you haven't responded to someone? On one hand, they might be busy or distracted. So something came up at work or at home. Maybe there are tons of things to organize, maybe a birthday, maybe a marriage, maybe kids are sick, maybe a global pandemic. There are lots of reasons why clients get distracted and so busy that they don't have the time or the energy, at least from their perspective, to go through a check-in or to respond. Then we are always talking about change, and change involves ambivalence. Ambivalence is essentially the situation of sitting between two chairs. You want this and you want that. And it could be that your client right now struggles with something. They might fight internally about responding and not responding, or taking action, not taking action. And the last part is they might be resistant. You may have said something that annoyed them or that made them angry. That is a possibility. But there are also a host of other reasons. While it is helpful sometimes to understand that it's not just I'm a bad coach and I've done something wrong, remember what is in your control. And in your control is to write messages that are inviting and compassionate and positive. And it's their responsibility to respond. There's nothing you can do to make them. You can only be as inviting as possible. One final tip, and I've touched on this earlier in this video. Don't push them away. I know there are many stories in our heads as coaches why we should reach out. Or they are struggling and they need my help right now. Or they are struggling and they are just waiting for me to reach out. it doesn't always help, because if you push too much and they are not ready or they are busy, then you're pushing them away. If they don't respond, they're saying, I need time and I need space. And if you persist and you message them again and again and again, you're not respecting that they need time and space right now. That's, again, why a cold, calculated reach out flow is so important. It takes all our stories and all our frustrations and all our emotions out of the process. We have, in a calm moment, written a message, and when a client doesn't respond, this process starts. And we hope to find the balance between inviting them to come back and giving them the space to think about it, to process whatever is going on, to make important experiences, while also knowing, hey, you always have the option to reach out. I've added a couple of videos here: introduction to motivational interviewing, an example of how a check-in conversation could look like, and also how to set up successful check-in forms and processes. Thank you so much for watching.